Marina. Let's take a look at this new set of essays today. Green energy. Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether renewable sources of energy should be nowadays commonly adopted instead of fossil fuel. However, some argue that using green energy can seriously threaten worldwide energy security. This essay will discuss both views, using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. However, I strongly agree with the idea that modern green energy technologies are beneficial for both environment and economies. Okay, it's good. I don't really have much to say about it. I can't really say I love the order of these of this sentence. In other words, I think I would have preferred this part first and then closing the paragraph off with this essay will discuss both sides, etc., etc. So I think I would have preferred that. Let's see. I strongly agree with the idea that modern energy technologies are beneficial for and then full stop. This energy will discuss both sides. Yeah, I think I would have preferred that. Is it a big difference? Not really. It depends on what you do with the rest of the essay. If you've linked your sentences together well and it's the only kind of lapse, so to speak, then it's not going to affect coherence and cohesion. So let's not make too much of a big deal about it, and why don't we just move on? All right, so there is ample evidence that using solar panels, sorry, and wind farms could significantly reduce the cost of energy as they generate power cost. Okay, from renewable natural resources. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, the solar system. No, you don't mean solar systems. Careful. Solar system is like all of the planets that we have, in like Jupiter, Mars, etc. So what you mean is first the solar energy panels, or actually, why don't you call them a solar park or solar farms? You can also say either one of those is okay. So firstly, the solar parks or wind energy facility installations, so singular plural, require, because this was plural, require less expenses, fewer expenses, compared to fossil fuel power plants. Secondly, after being installed, they produce energy without any additional equipment, using only sunlight or wind. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that installation of only one wind farm is, not twice less expensive, is half as expensive as upgrading an existing fossil fuel power plant. It must not be forgotten that although green energy technologies have just recently become popular, they have undoubtedly proved to be environmentally friendly compared to conventional ones. Okay, let's see. Okay. So let me tell you an issue that I found with this paragraph. I mean, it was, it was all right, but there is a big issue that we have to talk about. Take a look at this. What are the two views you have to talk about? The first view is this: they reduce costs and are better for the environment. All right, and that's the view that this paragraph is talking about. But there's a major problem. You spent the entire paragraph talking about costs, and you only mentioned being environmentally friendly in the very last sentence. And that's not enough. So you really needed to split this, half talking about cost, half talking about environment. Okay? So in other words, this was okay, but then when you got to your secondly, you should have focused on the environment, which means that you needed to make another change here. I also disagree with this first sentence. So your topic sentence in this paragraph dealt directly with the cost. Okay? And it shouldn't have. It should have basically been talking about the general benefits of green energy. So let's take a look at what that would have looked like. In other words, there is ample evidence that using solar no, you know what? Let me back up again. Let me try that again. There is ample evidence that energy from renewable sources is beneficial for both the environment and costs. And then you could say, this is because they generate power from renewable resources, and then you could have gone into the whole thing about cost. Then you could have said, these power sources benefit the environment because XYZ. They don't emit emissions into the atmosphere. They don't contribute to the greenhouse effect, blah, 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 blah. So you needed to talk about both of those things because the view is not just about reducing costs, but it's also about being better for the environment. You really didn't cover that. You only mentioned that one itty bitty thing here at the end. Okay? All right, so let's move on. Oh, oops. I went a little too far. Okay. Although there is a case for solar panels, wind farms, and water turbines saving the environment, the impact of fossil fuel power cannot be overstated. This is largely because the renewable sources of energy depend on weather. Consequently, for some countries, it is not feasible to use them. Brown energy, however, can be generated regardless of weather conditions, which makes it more attractive for many governments in terms of energy security. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that over 20% of farms in the UK failed to benefit from green energy plants due to climatic conditions. Okay. Therefore, it is possible to state beyond doubt that the largest drawback to such technologies is its limited usage and dependence on weather. Okay. All right. I want to read through this again and just kind of rephrase things in my own words to kind of, I don't know, formulate my thoughts on this. So, rather than talking about here energy security in terms of green energy, instead you talked about the impact of fossil fuel. I don't believe that that's entirely appropriate. Okay? In other words, you're not telling us that green energy is bad for energy security by talking about how good fossil fuel is for it. Does that make sense? This is something that seems to come up a lot of times with a lot of students. Let me see if I can put it to you another way. So I'll just put it as simply as I can. You don't describe the negatives of something by talking about the positives of its opposite. Okay? So that's essentially what I'm trying to say. So this was focusing on the wrong thing. You should have been focusing on the energy security issues involving renewable energy. Okay? Now, here you mentioned it in this sentence, but then you went on with this whole thing about brown energy. Okay? Which I really wanted to see not in here. And then this was okay. This sentence talking about they failed to benefit due to climatic conditions. So this sentence was problematic for me, and this sentence was problematic for me. I would have liked to see them rephrased so that it was clearly about this kind of, I don't want to say defect, but this sort of deficiency of green energy to provide stable energy and at reasonable prices. So it was those two sentences that were kind of problematic. You needed to rewrite them, okay? All right, so from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the usage of renewable resources is undoubtedly beneficial because their supply replenishes naturally and can be sustained. In modern society, energy security can only be achieved by using both green and brown energy depending on certain circumstances. Okay. All right. That's fine. I mean, that is essentially the summary of these two paragraphs. I mean, you did say something like that here. So it's fine. Okay, so this is a good essay overall. You can see that I have some reservations about it. There are some things that I'm not 100% sold on. But on the whole, I thought you did a good job. Okay, I want to move on to your task one about the barking dog. Let's see what you wrote. Dear Will, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to inform you about recent inconveniences I've encountered regarding your dog, no with. The problem is that your pet keeps barking day and night, with no plurals there, and it disturbs me a lot as I can't have proper rest at all. I've recently gotten a new job that requires a lot of attention, concentration, and focus, but I can't perform well due to lack of sleep. You know that I like animals and used to have a small dog too. However, I had to relocate the pet to my sister's house after getting a job with a shift schedule. I'd really like you to take some actions to stop the constant barking. Maybe you can try to give the dog more attention and spend some time playing with it. As a former dog owner, I can tell you that various pet toys are also very effective. Small dogs love playing with them and it keeps them occupied. After this kind of entertainment, your dog will be happy, healthy, and most likely sleeping at night instead of barking. I hope my suggestions are useful and we both will benefit from their implementation. Best regards. Okay, I thought this was great. It was semi-formal. It was neither particularly formal nor informal. Um, and which is fine. I mean, it's appropriate to do that because nobody's saying that your neighbor is your best friend. So I was fine with that. Let's see. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, what made it semi-formal? It was this. I hope this letter finds you well. It just feels it's something we write in semi-formal letters. Okay, not really informal. And also this too, I'm writing to inform you about. I guess it's okay because you do have this you have this contraction here. So it's fine. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's really that. And then of course this too. I hope my suggestions are useful. We both will benefit from their implementation. It was semi-formal, basically. There's no other way to put it. But I think that's okay. It was, I guess, these two things essentially. But I really like this letter, actually. I thought you did a great job with it. You covered all the points. You had really natural language, really good vocabulary. I thought it was very well developed. So I was really rather happy with it. Of the two that you submitted today, I thought you can probably imagine that the task two, sorry, was a little weaker. It had some issues that, I've already gone into some detail about. So let's talk about what happens next. Obviously, you've gotten to the end of the course, and you've finished all of the essays. So what I want to recommend to you, if you'd like to continue working with us, is to sign up for some more essay corrections. There'll be a link in the email that you'll get today. So see if that's something you want to do. I'm happy to continue working with you. I'd love to, so we can really kind of overcome any of these issues, and really strengthen your writing so you can be ready for your exam. I know you said a little over a month, I guess, to prepare. So let's take advantage of it and, let's keep writing, okay? So I look forward to hearing from you and lots of luck.